So you see, imagine a slope like this. This is the slope we're going to call the slope of reality. When you're born, you start at the very bottom of this slope. There is no reality when you're born. You're born as nothing into nothing. Like I said earlier, you don't even know you were born. You don't even know you're a human. You don't even know who your parents are. You know nothing. But then quickly, because you need to keep surviving, you start to learn. You learn about yourself. You look in the mirror. You realize you have a face and your body. You learn about pain and suffering, and you learn about your parents, and you learn about friends and school and blah, blah, blah. And quickly you learn a lot of stuff. As you're doing that, what you're doing is you think that what you're doing is that you're just exploring the physical world as it's given to you, as it was before you were born. That is not what's actually happening. What's actually happening is that you're inventing the entire universe, including, and of course, starting with yourself, your physical self, your psychological self, your biological self. All of this you had to invent. There is no biology or psychology or physics. You invented them. And all the science that backs it up. So see, what you have in your mind is you have elaborate networks and webs of explanation for what reality is. And they're woven together like a tapestry like this, each one reinforcing the other, creating a sense of solidity. And so now what I'm helping you to do is to pull those threads of the tapestry apart. It's very difficult to do, though, because as we're pulling on one, the other one constricts it and tries to pull it back. It's a tight web. So we have to question it from all sides simultaneously. And of course, you have to be very open-minded to this questioning. Otherwise, forget it. You will never understand what I'm trying to say here. So what's happening through your childhood and teenage years is that you're rolling your way up like a snowball, like a reverse snowball going uphill. You're accumulating more and more snow and getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, growing your sense of self and reality. You're imagining this entire process. This is all a work of God's imagination. But you don't know that. You think you're actually in a physical world as a physical self. But still, you suspect that something weird is going on because reality still seems mysterious, and the explanations that science and religion gives you still never quite make sense. That's right, because you're noticing glitches in your own tapestry and understanding of the world, because it's all imaginary. You're starting to suspect it, but you don't just know how deep it goes yet. So the problem is that now, by this point in your life that I'm speaking to you, you've already built up so much stuff. You have so much to lose. You have a career, you have a business, you have a religion, you have a money situation, you have a relationship, you have a family, you have children, you have blah, 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 right? You have a whole worldview, you have a scientific view, whatever. You have so much stuff that now to undo all that, to question that, that's very difficult. And you're very attached to that. And in truth, you don't care about what reality is. What you care about is the survival of this giant ball of imagination that you created. So now, as we're starting to question, what's starting to happen is that this process is getting reversed. The ball is starting to roll back down the hill. And this slope, you start to quickly realize, as you start to question your whole existence, is very, very slippery and very dangerous. And it's precisely for this reason that so few people ever question their existence or reality very deeply. If you haven't noticed, most people just accept what society tells them, accept what science or religion tells them, and they just think that's it. They've got it figured out. It never occurs to them to question the metaphysics of what they think reality is. So as you start to do that, you start to slide down this slippery slope, and quickly your slippage accelerates to the point where now you hit a certain point where you get a little scared. Now it gets a little too real, because as you start to seriously entertain the things that I'm saying here, for example, that your birth is imaginary, or that your memories are imaginary, or that your parents are imaginary, and so forth, Now it's no longer a philosophical exercise. This is not a piece of entertainment. This is not just you browsing through some YouTube videos or through some podcasts and listening to cool stuff or science fiction. Now you start to see that your sense of reality has been intimately interconnected with your entire sense of existence itself. And you start to feel yourself unravel. And of course, all of your emotions kick in to overdrive, to warn you. Red warning alarms are sounding in your mind, telling you, do not listen to this anymore. Turn it off, turn away, go do something else, distract yourself, forget about it. But that fear is precisely the thing that tells you that what I'm saying is true. You can't deny that fear. That fear of self-annihilation, that fear of losing your whole life in reality, the fear of admitting that everything in your entire life has always been imagination.